Hello everyone, welcome to Module 3. We are going to continue with our SQL command. This is still a review because most of you have taken COP 2700. You should have some idea about SQL and remember the command. So this is going to be more practice for you before we get more advanced into this course. So some of the objective of this lecture is going to be that we are going to use the W3 Schools website to kind of remember how to practice our SQL commands, and also it's a good place to run our SQL commands and basically kind of get more exercise. We will also learn some other important commands, such as how to update the database, the SQL query to create a table in the database. Also, we are going to use an SQL query to delete data from a database. We will also use the SQL command to insert new data, modify database, create index, delete index, and use subqueries in SQL. We will also learn how to group records in SQL, join table using SQL, and also perform some union functions in SQL. This is some of the summary of the main table commands that maybe you should remember. So one of the most important command in SQL is select, which will extract data from a database. Another important command is update. Update data in a database. Delete command deletes data from a database. Insert into command inserts new data into our database. Create database, create a new database. This is one of the commands that probably you cannot use in W3 Schools website, is because on that website you don't have access to be able to create a new table, but you can just use the select command, update command, and things like that. Also, alter database command is a command that modifies a database. Create table, create a new table in a database, and alter table modifies that table. Drop table deletes the table. Create index, create an index or a search key, and drop index deletes the index. There are three commands in updating tables: update, insert, and delete. Update command makes changes to the existing data. Insert commands add new data into our table, and delete command deletes data. So let's look at the syntax for the update command. SQL update syntax will be update and then the name of the table and then the set, and then you will have your columns and the values that you need to put in there, and then you will put your condition. So this is basically the syntax that we use for update. Update the name of table, for example, students, and the rest of it. So let's practice this in W3 Schools. Before we look at that W3 Schools in practice, let's look at the table here. This is one of the tables that on W3 Schools you might see. We have a customer table, which will have customer ID, name, contact, address, city, postal code, and country. So if we want to update the customer Alfred Futersky with a new contact person, we can use the update command. So in here we have Alfred Futersky as a person, as a customer here. So if we want to update the information for this Alfred Futersky, we can use the update command. So let's just go with this, and then we will write this in W3 Schools and run it. So we will see that we use the update command and then the name of the table. In this case, the name of our table is called customers table. Then we use the set, And then we want to update the contact name. So we have the contact name here, Alfred Smith. We want to change it to this. And then also we want to update the city. Right now the city is Berlin. We want to update it with city Hamburg. So this is going to be where customer name equals to Alfred Futersky. So the update will update this name to this and will update the city to Hamburg. Okay, so we will go to W3 schools. And I'm going to run this SQL statement. We can go to try SQL and write this SQL. I'm just going to change it to Alfred Woody. And then run the SQL. You see you have made the changes to the database. Row 1 affected. So this is the customers table. And as you can see here, the name from the contact name became Alfred Woody. And then the city became Hamburg. So you can try and practice on these W3 schools. So you can just go like, oops. Click on W3 schools /SQL, and then you can come here and practice any type of syntax that you want. And you can just scroll down, and then you can try any of these that you have here, and then it will bring you to any of this, and then you can just run your command here and then hit run, and then it would execute it. But these are the tables that you have on the W3 schools. Remember, you cannot create a table on W3 schools because this is they're not gonna, you don't have the access to do that, but you can query, you can update, you can select, you can basically use union, join tables and all that from this website to practice your SQL. For those of you who have Microsoft Access, remember you could have just go to your Microsoft Access, and on the design view you right click and you can see SQL statement, and you can still type this SQL statement and run it. So that will also be another good place for you to play around with the SQL statement, and once you run it you will see that your tables get updated. So the delete command, as we said, we use delete from the name of the table and then where the condition is. So that's where you want to delete. So we can actually put the same command either on W3 schools, the SQL command, try SQL command, and run it, or we can also go to Microsoft Access if we have access to it and right click on the design view and go to the SQL statement and then type this and run it. Another command that we can talk about is SQL insert into command. The insert into a statement is used when you insert new records into a table. SQL insert into commands, you will write it as SQL as insert into the name of the table and then the values that you have. There is another way to specify this this syntax is when you are basically specifying both the column name as well as the values that you want to insert. So you use the insert into command, the name of the table, the columns, so you specify the columns and then you specify the values that you want to insert into those columns. Let's look at another example. So this is a customer table that we just looked at. And you want to use the insert into the customers table. And remember, you want to use the columns, and then you want to use the values. So in here, we are saying insert into the name of our table is customers table. And then the column name is customer name, contact name, address, city, postal code, and country. So we are putting all of that here. And then we put values, and then the values of this, the customer name is cardinal, contact name, address, city, and postal code. So you are inserting these information. So we are going to go to SQL insert into, and this is the example that we have. So we're going to click on try it ourselves, and then we can just put all these information or update it. So we want to insert these. So we click run SQL, and you can see you have made the changes to the database rows affected 1. So we are going to look at the customer table. And we have inserted this into this table, Cardinal, Tom, and these are the information that we just inserted into this table. As you can see, it got updated and we got another record in there. So sometimes we want to maybe insert data only in a specific columns. So in here, we insert a new row, but only insert data in the customer name, city, and country columns. So the command will be insert into the name of the table and only to those columns that we want to update the information or insert the information. So this is our new information. So we only want to insert into customer name, city, country. So that's the values will be only for those columns. Also, we can run this on W3 schools as well to see how it will get updated. Another statement is SQL delete statement. The delete statement, as we said, is going to be used to delete the rows in the table. The syntax for it would be delete from the name of the table where the column name and then the value. So again, we are going to look at the customer table in here. And the examples would be delete from the name of the table, which is customers, where customer name, that's the column, equals to Alfred Petersky. And also we want to delete the contact name equals to Maria Anders. So we go back to W3 schools and we click SQL delete. So this is the examples. We can try it ourselves. So we're going to delete where this customer is and with this contact. And then we run the SQL and it says you have made the change to the database. We go to our customers. And that is deleted from this table. Okay, let's look at the create database command. The create database command is used to create the database. So we will have the create database and then the name of our database. This one, unfortunately, we cannot also practice it on W3 schools. They're not going to let us create the database. So you can basically follow the same statement and create a database and call it whatever you want. My database or new database or whatever the name of the database you want to have. So the database table can be added with the create table statement. So first you have to create the database and then you will create the tables into the database. The create table statement is used to create the table into the database. The table can be organized into rows as well as columns, and each table must have a name, as we have talked about it before. So in order to use the syntax for create table, we say create table, the name of the table, open parentheses, the column name, and also we have to specify the data type, what type of data would be, and the size of it. So you will have maybe the column, one of the column, the table name could be a student, the column name would be a student name, the data type would be maybe character, and then the size of that, 15 character to 255 is a standard character. And then maybe you could have student ID, that would be integer maybe, and then it would be maybe the size of it would be 2 or something like that. So let's say we want to create a table called persons that contain 5 columns. So we put create table, the name of the table we want is person, open parentheses, and all of these would be the column that we wanted to have. The person ID would be integer, last name would be varchar, first name would be varchar, address would be varchar, and 255 is the standard.